The questions I've been researching during the Resonance residency have been at the intersection of informality, the idea of memory, and the idea of politics. Now, these are deeply intertwined because informality doesn't happen without politics. But also informality is embedded with a kind of DNA that is married to memory. And so I was, kind of interested in finding what then becomes of this, three concepts, and to actually really ask a key question. Can informality be recursive? Can it actually look back and kind of correct itself in terms of addressing what really creates it? If it can, what is the role of architecture in that? And how does architecture, mediate those things? My name is Olorunfemi Adewuyi. I am an architect and designer. I work at the center, boundaries and margins of architecture, urban design, design research, and object design. What I've been doing during the Resonance residency has been mostly concept building and some drawings, but not drawings that are like resolutions, but drawings that are probing, kind of asking and kind of validating almost the position in a way. And for me, I think what has also been important is not rushing into design, because as a designer, once you kind of conceive something conceptually, you kind of already have some answers, but you have to kind of stop yourself sometimes, because the issues that I'm trying to confront, I think, are very delicate. What you learn from informality is that you can never employ a top-down approach, because at its root, it organizes life from a bottom-up approach. And so that is how you have to, come into the problem and engineer the answer. So I think it's going to benefit from embedding within the community and building together with communities in Nigeria, in Lagos, and testing out some architectural moments together with them. And then that's where I think the work is going to reveal itself. I took a long walk from the Cité Internationale, and I was walking through St. Paul, and I just basically walked to Bastille, to the central Bastille area, and I basically just took like a diagonal, and I was kind of going almost to Porte de Vincennes. On this walk to Porte de Vincennes, I then saw these two statues. I mean, in that moment, it just felt like a moment of greatness. It just made me think about if Lagos was that way, and maybe I could see a moment of history and how maybe prideful to belong to this. And obviously it kind of loops back to the work that I've been doing, because the work that I'm doing is really trying to break away from condition where we can't be proud of where we are and who we are, but how can architecture participate in this thing that's actually going to lead us to like a place where we're full of pride when we're walking down the road. It obviously kind of reinstated and reinforced my belief in what the urban space can do for a country. The Resonance residency for me has been very helpful. For me, I've obviously through the connections of the Resonance and the Cité, I've been able to meet a lot of people, and I've also been lucky. Very big thanks to Guy Claude, who has been sponsoring me for this residency in terms of meeting people and the connections and all of that. And I've also been very proactive to tell him my needs, the kind of people that I want to meet, and because he's very well versed in the ecosystem, he's helped to create those connections.